what's up, and welcome back to my channel once again. So today I have a video. It's somewhat similar to a previous video that I did. However, in that previous video I focused on the assumptions of blindness from a more personal perspective, and for this video I thought I would do common myths about blindness but from a general perspective. So I went and looked at the most common myths that people assume about blindness, and I'm going to basically be discussing them, what my opinion is on them, and give you like an overview based on what I found. So yeah, let's get right to it. So myth number one is that legal blindness equals total blindness. Now, I think I feel like I know how people assume this, just because like when you say you're legally blind, you know, it does sound like, okay, well, if you're legal and you're blind, you must be completely blind. However, blindness is such a vague term. It can be so many different, like vision is just so complicated. Vision comes in so many like forms, shapes, and sizes when it comes to blindness. It's so, hard to distinguish one type of disease from another, just because there's so many different ways that people see, and even then people have like their own personal interpretation of how they see. So this is actually not true. Just because, legal blindness, yes, it can mean that you're completely blind, but it also can't. Like, it also means that you have limited vision. In my case, my vision is 20/200. So I do have some vision. It's considered very low, but I still do have enough to rely on it to be able to read and to function in certain aspects of my life. And although I don't have peripheral vision whatsoever, I've said this in my previous videos, I still manage to get things done, one way or another, and I can still see. So it really depends on the person, it depends on the disease, it depends on so many factors. So legal blindness, I am legally blind, but I am not completely blind. So there are two different things. I think it really depends on the person and on the disease. Myth number two, all blind people read Braille. I would say no, definitely not. I think because this is based on like blindness, like I was just saying, comes in a spectrum. Some blind people, of course, they need Braille to be able to read, to be able to function. I do know Braille. I was taught Braille in middle school and even in high school to kind of like have some sort of backup just in case I needed it someday, but I've never needed it because my vision has always remained stable. So I rely on my vision to be able to read, on my magnifiers. I rely on my readers in my computer to be able to read my textbooks. So I don't need Braille at all. However, I do know how to read it. I know how to read it very basically though. Do not take me to a challenge with Braille because I will fail miserably. But I know my basics. I know my numbers, my alphabet. I know how to write like my name and stuff. But yeah, I'm not a pro definitely with Braille. Not at all. So I don't think all blind people can read Braille. I think it depends. It really depends on the amount of vision the person has and whether, what their personal preferences are as to reading. And that is my intake on that myth. Myth number three, all blind people use guide dogs. Again, I'm gonna have to disagree with this myth. I think it really all depends on the person. Yeah, it's very common when you see a blind person, you also think of like guide dogs and in general. I know that I've heard of many people who use guide dogs, and I've actually, met a few people who use guide dogs and who love their guide dogs, which is awesome. However, I personally do not see myself getting a guide dog ever. I think that as of my visual state now, I rely on my cane, and my cane gives me enough, security and just certainty to be able to navigate the world when I do need it. And I feel like a guide dog would be a huge responsibility just because you have to basically take them everywhere with you. And I love dogs. I am a huge dog lover. You guys know I have a little toy poodle named Amber. She is my life. She's my everything. I absolutely adore her. But like, she's my pet, There's a huge distinction between having a pet dog that you are with when you're home, you give her all your love, you take care of her, but then when you want to go and do your life, you have the opportunity to do your life on your own. For example, I know that when I come home, she's always here. I know that I have to give her a bath every once in a while and just pamper her. I know that when I'm at the store, I can buy her little toys and I can spoil her. But at the same time, I also know that if I ever want to travel or if I ever want to go somewhere, I could just leave and, have someone take care of her for me. I have like a very free-spirited type of personality. I like to be free to do whatever I want. So I feel like definitely a guide dog would be a huge responsibility that I do not feel like I want to tie myself down to. So no, not all blind people use guide dogs. That is my answer to that. Myth number 4. So myth number 4 is blind people don't dream. To be honest, even I have my questions on this. I don't even know, because okay, I could say personally, yeah, of course I dream, but I dream with sight many times because I do have some sight. So I mean, I'm sure if you're legally blind and if you have had sight at some point in your life, or if you still do have some remaining sight, it's possible to dream, yeah. But what happens if you're completely blind since birth and you've never seen anything other than what you know? I don't know. Even I as a blind person don't know that. Help me out, guys, because I don't know. I know I can dream, and I've had this crazy dream happen so many times where I see a plane crash happen right next to me, and I don't know why, but that always happens. I don't even know what the meaning of that dream is. But anyway, off tangent. Yeah, blind people can dream. Some blind people can. I don't know about everyone, but in my case, and in, I guess, most cases, yes. Myth number 5, blind people can't have real jobs. So I completely disagree with this myth. I think it's so, I don't even know. It's so dumb that people would think that just because you're blind you can't do anything. I mean, I know so many people. I know blind lawyers, my friend is blind, she has the same disability that I have, and she is a clinical psychologist. She has clients and sees them all the time. She has a very busy schedule, and her blindness doesn't stop her from having a good real job. I'm going to college. I'm getting my degree in industrial psychology. My goal is to get involved with human resources someday, so I'm working towards my dream job. I have worked as a receptionist before. I have been able to maneuver through the job, to do all of my tasks. I was able to translate, do everything that I had to do for the job, everything that was required. And my disability didn't come in a limitation. I mean, I don't know what you consider a real job for a blind person, but definitely, I know many people who have had real jobs. I have another friend who's visually impaired, and she has done many internships with legal psychology because that's her field. So she has taken notes with, I guess it's jury type of things. She's worked for lawyers. So yeah, we can get real jobs, guys. It's not a big deal. It's not impossible. Now that it's hard, yes, that's another story, because it's hard to find people who are willing to give you the chance, but it's possible. It's possible. And the last myth that I want to discuss on is blind people have stronger senses. So I feel like this myth is worded incorrectly. I don't think it's necessarily that we have stronger senses. I think it's more of we are more accustomed to providing more focus into those senses that sighted people don't generally have enough experience with, because they rely so heavily on their vision, whereas we tend to rely more on our hands, on our ears, on our smell. And sighted people, their primary focus is on their sight. So I think more than stronger senses, it's more of a custom type of thing. You learn to use, to navigate through your other senses more than you would if you had full 20/20 vision. So based on that, yeah, ever since I was little, my hands were my everything. Like, I used to use my hands as my little bumpers when I didn't have a cane yet, just so that I wouldn't crash into things. I would feel things. Even now, like, my hands are everything when it comes to cooking, to being able to cut. Like, I can't, they're my eyes. They are my eyes. Like, to be able to see where things are. A lot of times I'll be doing something and I'll be looking like a completely different direction as I'm tying something up, just because I know how to use my hands so well and because I know how to rely on them. The same thing happens with my hearing. Like, a lot of times I won't be focused on seeing and I'll hear something from afar, just because I've gotten so used to using those other senses more than the average person. I think more than having strong senses, like I said, it's learning to use them and learning to pay closer attention to those missing senses that someone would probably not do if they had, full sight. So that is my view on that myth. And that would be it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something out of it. I really love sharing these topics with you guys. I think it's super fun. I love making these videos and spreading awareness about blindness. So yeah, you guys, thank you for sticking with me this long. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, you're welcome to subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna keep coming up with more content like this about my life, about blindness in general. And I will leave my Instagram also in the description box if you guys want to go and follow me on there. You're more than welcome to. And yeah, guys, so I will be talking to you soon and see you later. Bye!